Ladies and gentlemen, it is so fantastic to see you. Welcome back to Genshin Impact. Oh, by golly. Okay, so this video is going to be a little bit different than the videos we currently are doing. One's like farming guides and stuff like that. This one's just going to be a thoughts video. I know, kind of boring, but nevertheless, I wanted to talk you guys' ear off about something I've been thinking about for a while now, specifically when it comes to Zhongli. And essentially, it's kind of, and this has existed in almost every game I've played that is a procedurally upgraded game, or a procedurally updated game. And yeah, essentially right now in the community, in case you're just not geared into the whole Genshin situation, their patches, or a lot of patches have won out for Zhongli. We have not got to experience any of them, but they've been in the test servers and people have been uploading gameplay of what they look like. A Zhongli after patch. In fact, I seen one the other day which was Zhongli after patch, but without the Geo passive bonus, which gives you 20% extra damage to enemies who you hit. They'll take more Geo damage, which is solid. Without that passive in effect, Zhongli, just the HP scaling with his attack and all those things, and his resin procking, all that stuff. And he was hitting for, I think, 1,200 and some odd damage. And people were immediately like, this is fucking nuts. Zhongli is on the... Now he is basically a DPS. He's better than like a child or this or that. And people are like, he's probably going to get nerfed before he comes out. And the thing that was frustrating about the gameplay that I seen was the character had, in my opinion, had the right to do stupid damage. And I hate the idea that this game is going to be scaled for the 0.111%, sorry, 0.1% of the population for whales or etc. Now, thus far, Mihoyo has been actually fantastic in that regard. Everything is attainable with the base characters, because a lot of the damage and everything that comes from damage in this game is in your artifacts, more or less. And of course, some people need more help than others, and that's kind of the argument for power, and sure. But having come from a game like Destiny from a while ago, there used to always be this thing where there was, to me at least, it felt like there was this huge, monstrous gap between the player, the average player who played the DLCs and got all the enjoyment out of it, and the streamer or the YouTuber who was getting paid to play the fuck out of the game. And this disconnect had the streamer who basically burned through content incredibly quickly, and basically the whole job was playing this game. It wasn't like you could dedicate 2 or 3 hours to the game, but instead you had to dedicate like 7 or some hours to the game to do that. The streamer who did that would basically say, we need more content, we need season passes that take forever or take way longer to grind because I got it done in like a couple weeks, and then it's just like, but you played the game for fucking 7 hours a day, like of course. And that was Destiny's problem. And I see it a little bit rear its head in Genshin, where people are like, hey, I burned through the season pass immediately, and I'm like, cool. I'm still chipping away, man. I don't know. I also don't specifically grind all of my season pass things. Anyways, we're getting off track. Zhongli and why I'm afraid, basically. All right, so let's cycle back to what I was just talking about with gameplay of Zhongli after patch without the Geo Resonance buff, but instead with just Zhongli's base buff that they gave him. I don't know if this accounted for his shield being buffed either. Regardless, Zhongli was able to hit with his meteor for 120 damage. That honestly makes sense. On the high end, Zhongli's able to hit for like 60 or 70 or 80 if you have everything built right. But 60 is probably the low end, and 70 or 80 is if you have everything built for damage, attack, and everything scales wonderfully, and you get crit and all that stuff. So the idea that you're getting double the bonuses from your attack because of your HP feeds into your attack, and that can scale up your ult and all those things, and maybe even the shield, it lowers their weakness to physical and of course elemental, which I think Zhongli does both. That would make you deal pretty good amount more damage, right? Now, the thing that people aren't seeing as well is in that video, at least that I seen, is the person was wielding a 5-star weapon. All right, and if I'm not mistaken, after he used his ult, he attained a shield. Now, that means he has 2 constellations in the character. Also, in order to get even a little bit of that damage, you're going to need a bunch of amazing artifacts. And then the fourth thing is his team composition, like debuffing people and all those things to get a high number. And what I'm basically getting at is, again, just like I said at the beginning, I don't want this game to be scaled for the people who are spending copious and copious amounts of money in the game, because they're not the actual player base. And it's not even from like a business standpoint, that doesn't make sense, because you want to convert people who are not whales into maybe not even becoming whales, but spending a little bit into your game. And you don't do that by making it so like the cost so high to buy in. I think that's why this game is one of its strong points, is actually every character can in some regard be viable, and that makes you want to invest in them. But anyways, on the topic of the 5-star weapon, having a 5-star weapon is pretty nuts. Having a legendary character and a 5-star weapon, pretty decent, pretty good luck. Probably spent money in the game. Let's say you didn't. That's pretty damn good luck. But now let's say you got Constellations into a character. Okay, now it's pretty nuts, especially if you have two into Zhongli, get 2 pillars with the new buff. They're both resonating. That's going to do a shit ton of damage, as well as the second ability gives you your shield constantly. Having Zhongli's shield up is going to just be nothing but profit. So that's a huge buff now. Beforehand, his first 2 constellations were kind of but with the upcoming buffs, which was the gameplay that I seen, it's going to be crazy. Okay, now let's say you have a 5-star weapon. That's pretty good. Now let's say you have max refinement of a 5-star weapon. Okay, now let's say you have good artifacts. But wait, let's say maybe instead you actually spend a shit ton of money on the resin refill system so that you can actually get the perfect artifact really quickly. Okay. If you do all of these things, I think it makes sense that you have stupid damage because you pushed your progression to the excessive point. Yeah, that's not a natural damage. So people talk about power creep. That's the power creep that I'm scared about, is people who have everything saying this is overpowered, when yes, you have everything. Of course it's overpowered. Like, what are you talking about? You have a 5-star weapon at max refine, and you're gonna be like, well, hey, this is a little too strong. Motherfucker, you have all that shit. If you do a proper DPS showcase and you're like, okay, we'll strip all the things, we'll give him a 4-star weapon, we won't spend his constellation, and then we'll show you his potential. That's a reasonable thing. Most people in the game are mid to light spenders. They're not wailing out. If they have a character that they really enjoy, they may drop $60 to try to get the character, and then just save their primo if they happen to get them. That's it. They won't push the point of getting max refined. Same thing with the weapon banner. Everyone always says the weapon banner is a trap. You're not guaranteed that much of anything. It's bad. Don't do it. But yet that is also something that's helping people's damage. Is when you have a 5-star weapon, your damage gets a little nutty. And again, just to bring it all back before I just keep rattling off the same thing, back to artifacts. So, artifacts, for instance, right now, I got Albedo, lucked out immensely. I had Pity as well, and I actually swung for Albedo and I got him. Awesome. I also got Chi-Chi, unbelievably grateful for both of that, 5-star luck, all that stuff. But it's taking me a pretty good amount of time to actually get the right artifacts for Albedo, so much so that it's actually proving to be annoying because I want to make a video showcasing him at his potential, but I can't because I'm not willing to do the refresh, the resin refresh. I think most people won't do that. Most people don't have the time to, or not, they probably do have the time to do this, because you bang that really fast, but most people won't do the resin refreshes. So again, that is essentially my big worry for Zhongli. That's my fear, is that a lot of people who are already established at being, are saying, hey, I'll spend money in this game. I'll spend money for the best spear in the game. I'll spend money for the best resin refills so I can get the best artifact. I'll spend money so that I can get constellation whatever of the character so that he can actually pop off. And then they're gonna showcase that character's damage, and everyone's gonna go, oh my god, he's better than fucking DPS's. Yeah, yeah, what are you fucking talking about? Yes, he's got a 5-star fucking weapon and the best artifact on the planet. You fucking lunatic. Of course he's gonna smash. It doesn't make any sense. So that is my fear when Zhongli's buffs come out. Yes, he could be broken and destroying everything, sure. Diluc already has existed. I'm not trying to defend power creep at all, but I am saying Diluc already existed, and even if Diluc's been like fucking excessively higher up than any other DPS in the game, and people have been fine with it. I also feel like it's fine to have a character like that every now and again. And when a character is literally in the lore of the game a god, it kind of makes sense. Now, should every character be like that? No. But I don't think it's shocking when that happens every once in a while. Power creep, the problem with power creep is that it'll happen all the time and things will get trivial, sure. But my fear is power creep enabled by whales. And then nerfing happening because of whales, because of people who spend an exorbitant amount of money in the game. They get the best artifacts, they get the 5-star weapon, they also get the fucking constellation that would make them perfect, which for Zhongli it's only 2. And then you're gonna see them do excessive damage, and they're gonna be like, Zhongli's broken now, he does more damage than a DPS. You have every fucking thing that makes a character better at dealing damage, and you're shocked at him being able to do excessive damage, and you're saying he's broken. If you have your talents high leveled up, if you have your again 5-star weapon, the artifacts are what breathes and makes damage happen in this game. So if you're able to get those in line, which resin refills can make you very easily able to get those in line, unless you have the worst luck on the planet. And that can make you pop off in a big way. And I think at that point, it's okay for you to do silly, stupid damage. Things in the game are still hard. There are still shields. There are still events that probably will limit the ability for Zhongli to get ult spam. Again, that's something that's beautiful in the Spiral Abyss, which miHoYo I think did a pretty good job about, is they're restructuring the power of your group so you're maybe more incentivized to level up characters, maybe incentivized to use resin refills, whatever. But needless to say, it's making it so that people who you could dumpster the Spiral Abyss the first month are like, hey, now it's a little bit more challenging because I don't have any characters that can cleanse debuffs. And who would have thought that would be so damn important? Everyone thought damage, but now just a character that can quickly wipe the slate clean is actually amazing. So they're restructuring the power structure of your things based on the events and the debuffs that they actually apply. So again, even if Zhongli is popping off when he first comes out at a buff, I don't think it's still, you're not able to be like, hey, holy shit, he's broken. Because again, Deluxe exists, Venti's existed. Yeah. And again, if he's broken at Constellation 0 and you have some mundane artifacts, but generally you're able to get something going, and if he still does more damage than a Tartaglia, then yeah, maybe then I would say chill out, too much. But the idea that Zhongli, it's also elemental synergy is also another thing. Like Tartaglia can activate the wet status proc, and all you need is a fire character to add vaporize, and then you just deal a fuck ton more damage. So it's like, yeah, maybe his base melee does damage, but the combination of elements doesn't, which is maybe why Zhongli needs more help in the base damage department, because fucking Geo isn't like a super weakness kind of ability where it allows you to do like X times the damage up to a single target. That's kind of where I'm at. Again, who knows? Again, if Zhongli can absolutely smash, he does more than Tartaglia, he does more than Diluc, he does more than Razor, all of these things. At Constellation 0 with okay artifacts, and all that other stuff, and a 4-star weapon, then sure. Then maybe, yes, I would agree he deserves to be nerfed. But I feel like when he pops into the game with his new buffs, and maybe you're lucky enough to have a 5-star character, or 5-star weapon that actually makes him great, and you're still a person who's a light spender, not doing refreshes or resin refreshes every single day, then hey, you'll be able to maybe have pretty decent artifacts, or maybe you have less good artifacts, but you have that 5-star weapon, and then you're able to kind of acclimate and still attain a good bit of power, but nothing to the effect of what person who's willing to basically supercharge their progress. And again, to the argument again for Zhongli, which is Zhongli trivializes things in the game, yeah, that's like the whole point of every kind of game like this. Any game that you can build a build for a character, the whole point is to make it so that you can destroy everything in the game and make it trivial. If you want a hard game, then put on a 4-star weapon. There it is. To me, it's just nonsense, because there are people who are like, wait, this is the only chance I have at power, and people are only chance I have at maybe getting across because my luck is so bad because I have this or that and whatever. And people are like, hey, I'm going to take that away from you, is a bit shit. I'm not one of those people. I've lucked out immensely, got plenty of good characters that can carry me. But yes, I don't know. A lot of people have talked about power creep, and my thing is I'm afraid of again, every single time whenever there's a game that has any sort of incentive to increase your progress with time or money, this game kind of has a weird mixture of both. People are like, it's broken, but it's only broken because you've supercharged your progression. It wouldn't have been as insane. Like again, Albedo is good right now, but because I'm missing like 2 or 3 artifacts, not that good. He's kind of fine. He's good. He's okay, I should say. He's not amazing, but he's okay right now. But I'm missing 2 or 3 artifacts. Same thing with Razor. Razor's okay right now, but because I'm missing 2 or 3 artifacts, I can't just keep doing resin refresh, and just getting the best one eventually, like forcing that to happen. And then being shocked when everything in the game is either boring to you because you're beating the shit out of everything and you didn't have to earn anything. And yeah, sorry for the rainy mood. Actually, the rain sounds lovely, but yes, I'm not sure. Again, to play devil's advocate, there absolutely could be genuine problems with Zhongli when he comes out where he's actually too great. Like maybe they decrease his shield to be a 15 and not 20 physical and elemental resistance. Maybe. Maybe they're like, hey, okay, maybe the pulsing of his pyre, not we wanted to kind of appease the DPSs and the support builds, but fuck it, let's just say we're just gonna go DPS, and let's just say his freeze petrify alt, let's just leave that as is. That's kind of a support ability anyway. Sure. Also, the resonating of his E, that's good enough, and they'll just subtract some of the buff. Sure, I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with when people, and especially in the test servers, I feel like the test servers are made to break, like the whole incentive is to show the capacity of the character. And again, I'm pretty sure people in the test servers have access to all the bells and whistles, the 5-star spears, and all these other things that are going to make Zhongli absolutely nuts. And to me, it's like, yeah, but the normal medium to high or medium to low spender are not going to be able to get those 5-star pikes. And if you are, then you probably don't have other characters. You probably have Zhongli and a pike and no other 5-star. And maybe you're like, hey, now I can actually compete, even though I lucked out on this, but not on that. So therefore, this is actually making me balance out. Anyways, I say this as a filthy, disgusting, somewhat free to play. I just bought the thing. What is it called? By the way, some people, when I was doing my opening all of my free to play gems, the first time I did that kind of video, I had spent nothing. I'm talking 0 into the game. And then I was doing a stream where a lot of you guys were like, actually, Grin, the blessing of the Welkin Moon is nuts. It's a crazy good investment if you do play the game every day. If you do your dailies all the time, then this is absolutely worth it. And it's also $7. Even if it's one of those things where I understand money can be tight, but if you're playing if you have a phone and you have a game and you have internet, $8 a Canadian for me, probably be less for you. $8, I feel like that's not the worst of investment, Anyways, so the only thing I bought is 2 of these, and I bought 1 season pass, or not season pass, this battle pass. Sorry, I bought 1 of those just because I knew a character was coming out that I wanted to level, so I wanted some experience books. So I said, why not do that? And I don't think this is that much money. Yeah, it's $13 or $14. Sorry, so it's not. Again, I think my money at this point is at maybe $27, maybe something like that. Nothing crazy. And again, I cannot wait till there's a character that I like. Again, I think Rosaria is probably going to come out, and that's when I'll probably dump $60 in the game and be able to retrieve my and just in case you guys don't believe me, I didn't spend any money in the game. Here are all my bonuses. I still have all my bonuses. Haven't spent any money in the game. Whenever there's a banner that comes out for a character that I really want, then of course I will drop money in the game, $60 worth probably, and then chill out for a long while and just relax and just grind my primos and take the losses when I need to. But yes, I just thought it'd be interesting that's my perception of the game, because I haven't done that yet. I want to, but I am just waiting for there to be a just kind of reason for that, for me at least. Also, Zhongli's going to talk now because I don't have him doing a pose. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, hell is going on around us. Absolutely crazy storms. But let me know what you guys think about the whole Zhongli buffs and what you're maybe afraid of. Maybe you're afraid that he makes your DPS nothing in comparison. To me, I don't know, because then in Spiral Abyss, with the changes that they made, they could make a Spiral Abyss where an upcoming dungeon or domain where Zhongli gets trivialized, but your other DPS shines, and therefore you're good to have 2 DPSs. Also in Spiral Abyss, you're good to have 2 DPSs. So yeah, to me, the only thing I'm really worried about for Zhongli buffs is that when he comes out, people who have everything are going to be shocked when he does everything well. People who have the right artifacts, the right weapon, the right constellations for him that give him enough advantage to where he actually becomes nuts. Which beforehand, Zhongli's first 2 constellations were okay, but not crazy. But now with the shield buff, where every time you ult, you have a fucking max shield. That's nuts. That's absolutely wonderful. That's going to increase the damage around you and all that and crazy stuff. Also, you have 2 pillars. Amazing. Those are getting a buff based on your HP. That's going to hit hard as fuck, So that's kind of where I'm at a little bit. Why am I like Super Saiyaning right now. What's happening with that? I don't know. Anyways, regardless, ladies and gentlemen, I hope dearly that you enjoy the rest of your day. Again, let me know what you guys think about the whole update. We haven't gotten him yet, so who knows? Maybe I'm like, oh no, he was absolutely fucked. Like, even with the worst weapons, he could still pop off in the biggest way imaginable. Maybe with crap artifacts, maybe. But every gameplay that I see, I just am worried because yes, he's able to do insane damage because he's a 4-star or 5-star weapon, great artifacts, etc., etc., etc. That's my fear. I keep reiterating myself. Thank you so much for your time. Don't mean to take up too much of your time with today, but let me know what you guys think. Thank you again, and goodbye.